Good morning, and welcome back to the Doing It Live with Doomlink series in Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Where I last left off, we were basically walking around Suthorn Village, speaking with various people, engaging in the services of this shopkeeper, and actually acquiring our third piece of heart, which is happening very quickly, as was mentioned in the previous video. I mean, I really don't know how we're getting so many heart pieces in such a short amount of time, but it's happening. And as I said, I expressed my incredulity at the fact that we were even able to afford that heart piece, but it was only 80 rupees. I mean, in any other Zelda game, you would not be able to buy a heart piece for 80 rupees, but maybe it's because it's an early game heart piece, and so it turns out we can jump on shrubbery to break it. Shrubbery, bushes, whatever word you want to use. I was not expecting. Also, a lot of things are happening unexpectedly, as you can tell, but I didn't think that jumping on shrubbery would destroy it. Zelda, you must watch your weight. Alright, let's go inside this really, really small house. I don't know if this is actually the size. No, it's a bit like TARDIS, you know, much bigger on the inside than it actually is on the outside, but... alright, let's speak to this lady. She's got a very, she's got a sweeping fringe going on. What is this, 2004? And incidentally, like, not what you would expect of an old lady. Maybe she's, maybe this is several years in the future, beyond the emo era and the goth era, where all of these emo girls have now grown up. And they're very old. We're pretty upset around here. I mean, my hair looked like that at one time, although I am slightly embarrassed to admit. But it's, you know, styles have not changed that much in the last 15 to 20 years, but they've changed enough where I can actually look back and go, wow, I was wearing my hair like that? What was wrong with me? Anyway, we're pretty upset around here. One of us villagers has been caught in a rift, and we can't escape either. The forest nearby is crawling with monsters. Okay. Well, apparently there's a different type of pot. Can we just accept the fact that we've currently got a Hyrule Castle pot? I would just like to draw your attention to this. For some reason, we are being given the opportunity to learn a new pot. And every time I go to press Z, I press R instead. I don't know what that's about. It looks a bit like a honey pot with that design, doesn't it? You learned the Pot Echo. This is just a standard pot. It's not a Suthorn Village pot. It's not a standard pot. It's literally just pot. Very good. Oh, I'm being told that these pots are full. So rather than an empty pot, which is what this one is presumably, AJ in the chat is telling me that this is a full pot. Well, let's find out. I'm going to throw it and see what comes out of it, just to test your comment. Ooh, I've just caused great concern among the villagers. I do not mean to perturb you in this way. I was just testing it out. It seemed heavier than this one. Let me walk around with this. Hold on. Yeah, see how much faster I can move with that? Whereas with this pot... No, it actually is the same. Why do you make these ridiculous noises when I drop this pot, but not the other one? Maybe they just know the sound of a Suthorn Village pot when it breaks, and they become really startled. But anyway, hello, Hossein. The pots were next to the beds. Oh, great. Those pots are full, and you don't want to know what with. They were next to the beds. This is AJ's wisdom that he has imparted to me. Yeah, nice. So that little overflow, that sticky overflow, very good. I'm sure you're referring to urine and excrement, but I suppose I've gone and taken it a step further, haven't I? Well, that's a great visual. Let's go into the well. Or shall we do that? Or is there more to see in this village? This is the smallest village ever. Are you telling me we can learn a sign echo? What? We can learn basically everything in this game. The sign echo. What? Can we write our own signs? Is that what you mean by that? I really need to figure this out. Sign. I would like to conjure a sign. What does it say? You could probably use this as a shield, but only once. Okay. So if I picked it up... The writing is on the other side! So now the text is faded and hard to make out. It's not a very good shield, is it? I mean, I could use anything as a shield. And I don't think that is particularly useful, unless I will discover later on that it does have a unique use that I'm not at this stage able to figure out. But anyway, let's go into the well. There's definitely going to be something in here. And hopefully not one of those creepy things from Ocarina of Time. Remember that? Remember that boss from under the well in Ocarina of Time? Ugh. That ruined a lot of people's childhoods. The thing with the long neck and the face. Ugh. Yeah, if that didn't ruin your life, then perhaps the Redeads did. The Redeads weren't great. There was one of the Let's Players I used to watch back in 2008, 2009, Goron50. He did a Wind Waker Let's Play back then, and he had a scream warning for the Redeads. I don't know who required a scream warning, but I mean, admittedly, it was abrupt. It was very loud and a bit scary, but yeah, he would have to put a scream warning in for when the Redeads would show up. Yeah. Yeah, that boss was pretty scary. The one from underneath the well. I think it was covered in blood too. It was a bit brutal. I was so absorbed in my discussion that I actually didn't even pay attention to what I picked up. Was it rupees? Can I see how many rupees I'm holding? What's the easiest way for me to see that? My number of rupees. Do I have like a... Oh, here we go. If I go over here. Yes, 35 rupees. I think that's... No, that's about what I had before. This guy is really upset about the rift. Hey, shout if you can hear me. He's probably talking about the person who got caught in the rift before. Who are you? No, it doesn't matter. Can you please help us? Hey, that cloak looks a lot like Link's. Are those cloaks trendy right now or something? Ugh, what am I doing? This is no time for idle banter. My wife got swallowed up by the rift. Wife! Now, I'm not married, but I would not dream of the... I'm assuming that in Japanese it was Okusan, but you know what I mean, like, translate it, like, you've gone to the trouble of writing this in English, like, just give her a name. Far out, give her a name. It's just... Wife! Maybe it's one of several. Maybe he doesn't remember her name. This is an extremely polygamous village. I'm right here. Wife! Whichever one you are. I think you were the... You're the third... No, you were the second. That's right, you were the second. I think. What the hell? Her name actually could be wife. Maybe I'm just being extremely unpleasant. I'm just being dismissive of this person's potential name. Something that I do want to test out, and I did see this peculiar plant. I have noticed that, and I will engage with it shortly, but I just want to see if I can get over this rift, because I think the beds might be able to do that. Oh, no, if you put anything even remotely close to a rift, it will be destroyed. Oh, sorry, mate. I hope I didn't hit you with that. I'm not worried about startling you, that really doesn't bother me. You're calling out to the wife whose name you have completely forgotten. So startling you is not beyond my... not beyond what I would be willing to do, but as far as physically hitting you with a bed, I think that's going a bit far. Oh. Try has something to say about this thing. Do you think it's a warp point? I reckon it's a warp point. Have a look at this. Because we don't have save points anymore. This is a modern video game where it's expected that you can save at any time. What is going on? Come back! I'm picking up the rupee. Could you not? Not even... I don't think I've ever been so aggressively pulled back to a thing of importance in a Zelda game. They literally expect that a person will approach something that's essential, read a dialogue box, and then just walk off in the opposite direction. That's not what I was doing. I had acquired a rupee, well, not acquired one, but I had produced a rupee rather, from the grass, and was going to pick it up. Goodness. In fact, I didn't even get the chance to... Okay, I understand. Come... This is probably my fault at this point. Have a look at this. Okay, will do. I'm sorry. I'm just distracted by glittering objects. This waypoint has been recorded. You can now warp here using the map. Yes, I guessed correctly. Again, we can save whenever we want. It's a modern video game, but warping, yes, this is something we do need to physically interact with. That's fine. I don't know why it looks like that. It's a bit eccentric, but that's alright. These are waypoints. Can I get this rupee now, please? Rifts can appear all over the place, so we use these to travel quickly around the world. But what happens if that gets swallowed up by the rift? Once you interact with one, you can travel to it at any time. I'm sure they'll be helpful. Alright, well, we got the first waypoint that looks mildly cactus-esque. Yes, Hossein. I am a big fan of Kusuria no Hitorigoto. That is the Japanese name of that. Yep, I love that anime. I've got the manga. Oh, I guess I can bring it down. And that's the manga. But, I don't know if you had anticipated that after mentioning it, but yeah, it's a good anime. Good manga. And I'm a big fan. If you want me to go further. Got that. These things are just within reach, you know, it's just what it is. These things are within reach. Oh no, I've got a poster slipping out of this one. Look at it. Anyway. Yeah, big fan of Kusuria no Hitorigoto. Okay, what was I doing? I picked up that rupee that I needed. And I also interacted with that waypoint. So we are now able to proceed through the game. Mau Mau, my beloved, indeed. I'm sensing lots of creatures in this area. I think the place marked with that icon is up ahead. Alright, let's do battle. Battle it out. Oh, yeah. I've achieved supremacy over the Zols. It's a very easy monster name to remember, isn't it? Zol. Get over here. They're awfully cute. Come on. Guys, they don't really follow you very well, do they? They're a bit slow. Yeah, it's kind of expected that you summon them when you have a need for them. I can see that. No, my Zol lost. Come on, Zols. Damn you. Fine, I'll get a second one in there. Lord of Zols, indeed. Alright, I haven't used the Keese yet, or the sea urchin. What do you think I can do with a sea urchin? Can I lift a sea urchin? No. It's something that I summon. I don't think they attack. They weren't attacking me, so I don't suspect that they can be used to attack other people, so... As yet, I am unsure of what a sea urchin can do. Trampoline is fairly self-explanatory, isn't it? Why that would be helpful, I'm not entirely sure, and the reason why is because if I get onto a platform and jump off it, I think that produces the same... No, this produces a little bit more height than that, now that I'm looking. Let's try to compare this, shall we? So if I take a table, and then I jump on that, versus this, yeah, that's a little higher, isn't it? Maybe? Because I can understand why a trampoline might be useful, but I'm asking the question, is it going to give me access to things that I wouldn't be able to access now with the echoes that I currently have? It's hard to tell. So if I jump there, okay, that's the height. It looks slightly higher, doesn't it? But would that be the difference between reaching something and not reaching something? I really don't know. Anyway, I guess we'll find out later. Oh yeah, we can also summon Keese if we're minded to do so. I'm guessing Keese would do quite well against Zols, because they would stay out of the reach of a Zol, and then just come in for the attack and completely decimate it. So I can see that they, as far as these items that you use, it does default to the order in which you last used them, which is useful. I think that's great. And then you can actually continue over to the left and go all the way to the other end. That's really good, actually. I like that system. Alright, let's summon a Keese and see how he fares. Oh my god, he is doing work. Come this way. Come this way. Come on. I know that there are boulders in the way. Fine. Yeah. Keese are serious business. I mean, I know I've been on the receiving end of a lot of Keese onslaughts in the past, but yeah, it's looking good. I could jump on the shrubbery from the trampoline. Brilliant. That is good stuff. That's exactly what I would use it for. You got 5 electro apples. This does not sound edible, first of all, and B, appetizing. Neither edible nor appetizing. It can be used to recover hearts, but I don't know why it's called electro apples. Maybe it contains electrolytes, but I don't believe apples do contain electrolytes. Just a wild guess, but I don't know why they've used the word electro there. It sounds dangerous, that's all I can tell you. Watch out for monsters hiding in the grass. Okay, very well. Let's save the game, shall we? I should mention, this game auto-saves a lot. Want to see? Autosave, 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 autosave. I like that. I think that's excellent. So, presumably whenever a key event takes place, it does autosave for you. I mean, that's what I want, okay? In modern gaming, that's what I expect, that's what I want. I don't require it or gripe about not having it when I play an older game, but if I'm playing a newer game and it doesn't have that, I'm like, come on, let's get with it. Oh, okay, so when the Keese finds its target, it cannot actually home in on the enemy. It finds its target and then goes in a linear direction to where it was targeting, and may actually end up off target if the enemy has since moved. It's worth taking note of. Can I destroy these pots? Oh, I can get in a pot. That may be its function. Let me see if the Hyrule pots can do that, or the Hyrule Castle pots can be used in that way. Excellent. Pots can be used in that way. So if you need to sneak past enemies, and perhaps that would have been another thing that I could have done in Hyrule Castle. Remember when I was trying to escape, or not really escape, but rather sneak past those guards in Hyrule Castle? I could have actually done this. It was entirely unnecessary, I should mention, but definitely an option. If you remember in Wind Waker when you used to pick up a pot and then put it over your head. Was it a pot? God. It's been long enough now that I don't remember what you used to put over your head in the Forsaken Fortress in Wind Waker, but yeah, same idea. You can sneak using pots in this way, which is good. I'm glad that I figured that out just by standing near a pot. I was thinking, oh, can I jump over it or jump on top of it? But no, I jumped into it instead. That was interesting. Okay. I've learnt a little bit more about a pot than I knew before. So we've got a flaming Zol of some kind. I don't know if it's called something else now that it's on fire. Oh my god. Maybe a sea urchin can deal with you? Take that. No, that sea urchin died immediately. Okay, maybe we'll just settle with a rock. A trusty rock. It didn't kill him, but I suspect that it did deal damage, so let's do that again. Excellent. Let's learn that echo. I'm sure you are all sick of seeing me spin on the spot instead of using the ZR button. But it's going to continue that way for a while, I suspect. You learned the Ignizol. Okay, very good. Because he's been ignited, I guess they could have called it Imolazol, as in immolated. Imolazol. Imolazol might be a bit weird. I mean, more kids are familiar with the word ignite than immolate, so I guess all is well. I just really want to destroy these pots, do forgive me. Oh, there you go, I got something out of it. I don't know how I already had 5 floral nectars, but I did. Where I got them, I'm not entirely sure, but... I think that was in the chest. Remember when I got something from a chest, and I was so absorbed in my conversation that I forgot what it was. I think that's what it was. I think it was 5 floral nectar that I got. I've got a weird memory of it. It's just I was so distracted at the time, I had forgotten. Alright. It was a barrel. There you go. Thanks, AJ. You'd pick up a barrel and then put it over you. Excellent. We've got some serious Zol action at the moment, so let's summon some keys and deal with these Zols. One more to go, come on, get in there. Yeah. We've also got a lot of grass to cut. So keep in mind, we've already bought a piece of heart and we're back at, what was that, 80 rupees, I think? No, I think we're at, yeah, 57. It was 80 rupees to buy the piece of heart, but we're at 57 already. So really, if you're tempted to hold off on, and it's pretty obvious that we use the Ignizol for that, by the way, I have noticed that. But it's pretty obvious, no, let me go back to the other phrasing. If you were tempted to be conservative with your use of, or your expenditure, if you wanted to be frugal with your expenditure, don't do that. Just buy the piece of heart, okay? Just do it. Okay, so this, interestingly, this is our very first echo that requires 2, whatever you call those. I need to think of a word. I'm sure there is a word. But basically those arrows that attach to try, 2 of those arrows are expended, or utilized rather, when we summon that particular Zol. Which is interesting. A new development in the system. I was not expecting a dead end, I was hoping for a way forward, which may mean that this is something of real significance that allows us to continue in a direction. We got a fairy bottle, okay. Fairies love these sturdy bottles and will jump right inside. I guess that is another way of framing what otherwise would be a very cruel and selfish use of the empty bottles of the past. Of course, in the past, you just get an empty bottle and then... Sorry, fairy. Fucking stick it in the pot. It's not like that anymore. Now they're fairy bottles, and fairies like the pots. They like where they are. I bet they've done a similar thing with Pokemon, haven't they? Well, no, I guess Pokemon were never dissatisfied with their circumstances, but I always make that joke about how Pokemon are just, they're being used like roosters in a cockfight, and then they get jammed in these fucking Pokeballs, get in there, and then they're all cramped, and that's what I say to really turn people off conceptually when it comes to Pokemon, and I used to say it as a kid as a joke, you know, that was what I used to tell people. But then, I guess, maybe these days they try to make it sound better. I seem to remember that Pokeballs, to use another Doctor Who reference, TARDIS, the Pokeballs are like a little TARDIS, and then when the Pokemon is inside it, it's all spacious and nice. I think that's what the anime used to say, wasn't it? So maybe it wasn't necessary for Pokemon to make that sort of amendment to the story or to the way it works. But, yeah, as far as the fairy bottles are concerned, yeah, that is definitely a sort of rewriting of history. A sort of, oh no, we're not holding these fairies against their will, just stuffing them into bottles and leaving them in claustrophobic environments where they may or may not survive to rescue you when you become incapacitated. No, these are lovely, fairy-specific bottles, ones that they really like. They want to be there. It's quite funny. Yeah, the fairies in Wind Waker are great, because obviously in all the games that preceded Wind Waker, there wasn't enough detail to show you what was going on with the fairy once it was put in the bottle, but when you capture a fairy in Wind Waker, you can see it, and it's frowning, it's like quite distressed by the conditions, and what I can say is that even if it's not distress that you're seeing, they're not happy about it. They may not be like fretting and completely distressed, but they're not enjoying the scenario. Like, the arrangement is not one that benefits them. I mean, how could it? Why would they want to be in there? What is this creature? This is a snake of some kind. Alright, Keese? Let's see if a Keese can manage it. Oh. Can the Keese get behind it and attack it? Come on, Keese. I didn't think I would ever be encouraging a Keese to attack anything. Feels rather weird. I'm usually on the receiving end. Alright, let's get a rock. Oh. Threw it a little bit too high. There you go. If I target the snake and throw, it's a bit better. I'm guessing it's rope, right? You learnt the rope echo. Well, I'm glad they've kept with the same naming scheme of the past. I've never really understood why they called snakes ropes. I mean, I get that they're a similar shape, but it's a bit odd. Yeah, the snakes in Zelda have always been called ropes. I believe since the 80s. That was a little while ago, wasn't it? Oh, let's try that again. Again, do a targeted throw, because a targeted throw, I think, will not just have me throw it in the right direction, but may actually control the arc of the throw as well. I could be wrong about that. Maybe I'll have to give it a try at closer range. It's a little dangerous to stand that close to the rift to get my grasp, but sometimes we do ill-advised things to get our grasp, wouldn't you say? Mad Duck Wizard. No, I don't think you were a pot smoker. There was a time with my live streams where I had about 3 to 4 pot smokers watching me. It was because of my presentation style. Because it was, you know, pretty laid back, still is, very laid back, sort of deep, smooth voice, and it attracts stoners. It really attracts stoners, and I did concurrently have about 4 stoners watching me on the regular, and indeed reporting to me how absolutely sky high they were while watching me, which was always nice. I think Mad Duck Wizard was one of them. Anyway. Let's give the Ignazole a try. I'm just trying to create a... Like, I don't need a shield, necessarily, but I would like for there to be some space between me and this moblin, so that I'm not attacked. Oh, there you go. He's on fire! Very good. What's he dropped? He's dropped our first sellable monster material. You got a monster fang. This high-quality tooth was dropped by a monster. You can't use it in its current form. That's fine. Let's learn with ZR. This is the first time I've not pressed R instead of ZR in order to learn an echo. At least for this recording session. You learned the Spear Moblin Echo. Sounds extremely useful. Wow. Can't imagine many enemies having the ability to get around that. Now, sorry, I didn't really want to finish that sentence properly because I'm being so distracted by this terrible frame rate. You see, when the frame rate finally stops crapping itself, everything gets smoother, doesn't it? Even the picture becomes smoother. God, this game, in terms of how it's been developed for the system that it's running on, terrible. Really, really bad. I mean, words almost fail that we can be in the year of... When did this come out? Was it last year or the year before? Let's just, for argument's sake, say 2023. How could we be in the year of 2023 and the game is... It was 24, wasn't it? I'm quite sure it was last year. I think the trailers that I watched that had been uploaded came out last year. Maybe it was 2023. But basically, how can we be in the decade of the 2020s and have games that run like this on a console? It's just shocking. So we did pick up a fairy bottle. It wasn't an echo. So how do we actually use it? Oh, we've got these red marks for all of these echoes. Let's remove those. We do also have ropes that we can summon, so maybe they can be used for certain things. We'll figure that out later. How do I select this and use it? So I'm selecting it with A, or attempting to do so, and it's not really working. How do I use a bottle? Do I need to open my tips to figure this out? Play tips. So not echo monsters. Because basically, the thing that we are, I bet we equip it to our D buttons. D-pad? Yeah, D-pad is the word that I want. Now I need to figure out how to equip it. Well, AJ says fairies will jump right into it, so maybe I don't even need to equip it. Silly me, thinking I'd have to do the swinging animation. No. No. Not necessary. The fairy will automatically go into the bottle, understood. I think they've gone to the trouble of mentioning that just for those of us who have played the older games and found ourselves confused and uncertain as to how to even get the fairy in. Well, it really is automated now. I think that Zold has jumped into the water. I feel sorry for him. Well, not really. His very existence was sustained by me and made possible only by me. Was this where we were supposed to go? Looks like the rift is blocking the door. Zelda, my role is to mend rifts. I have lots of friends who do the same. We all work together, fixing up rifts. Normally, my friends fix them quickly, so it's weird that this is still here. I wonder if something happened to them. Oh dear. Zelda, will you investigate with me? I'm guessing my friends are in the rift, and if we find them, we can mend this rift easily. New quest. Well, not really new quest. I guess our quest has now assumed a greater importance, and more detail has been added to it. Let's head this way. We'll need to find an entry point. Sounds good. Quest updated, the mysterious rifts. Alright. Soothorn Prairie, Soothorn Ruins. To the right. I presume that Soothorn Ruins will be our first dungeon of the game. Really liking the way that we're progressing through Echoes of Wisdom so far. Got a giant piece of meat. No. I would like to learn this echo. Wouldn't it be nice to summon food whenever you needed it? Ugh. The world would be a different place. Maybe not a better place, to be honest. I think we would be occupied by other things that maybe... I think humans need to occupy themselves with more simple things. I think it causes less trouble that way. If we're more focused on eating food than other more complicated things, I suspect that societies will function better. So if we all are able to suddenly summon meat to eat whenever we want, well, I guess fuck the vegans, but, you know, the vegans miss out. But aside from that, wow, that takes me down a line of logic that's almost breathtaking. But anyway, yeah. I think I've already made my point. I needn't make my point further than that. Maybe if I throw meat at these guys, it will serve as a distraction. Let's find out. I'm going to try throw the meat over there. Go. Go to the meat. I knew it. Alright, let me get... Just because I really like it, I'm going to get an Ignizol. I'm going to throw you in there. Well, that was an attempt to throw the Ignizol in there. I just like seeing the moblins get lit on fire. Ugh, very well thrown, I have to admit. I'm sorry, Ignazol, I threw you into the spear that was coming my way. Yeah, take that. That's why I'm using the Ignazol rather than anything else. Oh, that's very Breath of the Wild, isn't it? I'm saying Breath of the Wild because even if it existed in Tears of the Kingdom, it first appeared in Breath of the Wild, so it's still appropriate for me to say Breath of the Wild rather than anything else. But, yeah, okay. A chest that unlocks once you've killed all of the enemies nearby. Quite familiar. Alright, I'll get a trampoline then. Will that make you happy? Come on. Alright. Yeah, I guess I'm now having to cast the trampoline again, and up we go. You got 10 bunches of refreshing grapes, I see. This item can be used to recover hearts, but is more effective when mixed into a drink. So we've seen that a few times now. Items that do have an effect on their own, but are intended to, later on, be incorporated into some sort of potion-making system. It'll be interesting to see what our options are with that. I'm not surprised to see that it exists, because we did have food and drink making in Breath of the Wild, and presumably also Tears of the Kingdom. Again, just as a reminder, I have not played Tears of the Kingdom, so do not expect references to that game from a basis of knowledge. I have not experienced that game at all. But, yeah. I would say that it makes sense for it to be in Tears of the Kingdom, and by extension, makes sense for it to be here as well. If we could summon food on command, we'd be like the human in Wall-E. I never watched Wall-E, but yeah, as I understand it, it has greater relevance now in today's world, or in today's trajectory into the future than it did back then. But I guess the argument could be made that it has always been relevant. This waypoint has been recorded. You can now warp here using the map. I think with the acquisition of this new waypoint, that will be a good point to end the current VOD, and then pick up the next one. I do thank you all for watching. Again, those of you live, I'm still going to be live, fear not. But as far as the VOD is concerned, it will end here. I thank you all for watching. I think this is part 4 for the VOD series, isn't it? The Doing It Live with Doomlink series, and I will see you next time when we return to Echoes of Wisdom and make our way towards the next dungeon. I suspect that we'll be doing a little bit of the dungeon to begin the next video, but it's not going to be taken care of in one single VOD part. I don't imagine so. I'll see you when I upload that, I suppose. Goodbye for now.